Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yomi Olowe from African Business Chamber of Commerce. It's been a while that we have come together to talk about economy and business opportunity and potential. Being the first podcast in the year 2022, I think it is important that we come together to celebrate the fact that we passed through those pandemic years and we survive different variants of coronavirus, COVID-19. For this, we come together to celebrate. I want to celebrate on behalf of all of you out there listening to me. Today, I will be looking into Nigeria economy outlook in pandemic years of 2020 through the new year 2022. As compiled by African Business Chamber of Commerce. Recent microeconomic and financial development in Nigeria economy. Nigeria economy entered a recession in 2020, revising 3 years of recovery due to fall in crude oil prices on account of falling global demand and containment measure to fight the spread of COVID-19. The containment measure mainly affected aviation industry, tourism industry, hospitality, restaurant, manufacturing, and of course, trade. Contraction in this sector offset demand-driven expansion in financial and information and communication technology sector. Overall GDP is expected by the bank to have shrunk by 3% in 2020. Although mitigating measures in the Economic Sustainability Program ESP prevented the decline from being much worse. Inflation rose to 12.8% in 2020 from 11.4% in 2019, fueled by higher food prices due to constraint on domestic supply and the pass-through effect of an exchange rate premium that widened to 24%. The removal of fuel subsidy and increase in electricity tariff added further to inflationary pressure. The Central Bank of Nigeria cut the policy rate by 100 basis points to 11.5%. To show up a flagging economy. Now, the physical debt, financed mostly by domestic and foreign borrowing, widened to 5.2% in 2020 from 4.3% in 2019, reflecting pandemic-related spending, pressure, and revenue shortfall. Total public debt stood at 85.9 billion, that is 25% of the GDP, on 30 June 2020, 2.4% higher than 2019. Domestic debt out of this total debt represented 63% and external debt stood at 37%. High debt service payment estimated at more than half of federally collected revenue, which pose a major fiscal risk to Nigeria economy. The current account position was expected to remain in deficit at 3.7% of GDP, weighed down by the fall in all receipts and weak external financial flow. Now, let's look at the risk that Nigeria economy bear due to all these things that we have talked about. The National Bureau of Statistics said Nigeria economy recorded a 5.01% annual growth in real terms in the second quarter of 2021. The rise marked the third consecutive quarter of growth following the negative growth rates recorded in the second and third quarter of 2020. The second quarter growth rate was higher than the minus 6.10% growth rate recorded in the second quarter of 2020 and the 0.51% recorded in first quarter of 2021. Following government intervention, the return of business and economic activity near levels seen prior to the nationwide implementation of COVID-19 related restriction, the NBS said. It's also recorded that the steady recovery observed since the end of 2020 with gradual return of commercial activity as well as local and international travel accounted for the significant increase in growth performance relative to the second quarter of 2020 when nationwide restriction took effect. The real GDP grew 2.70% in 2021 compared to minus 2.18% for the first half of 2020. With regard to quarter-on-quarter growth, the GDP grew at minus 0.79% in second quarter of 2021 compared to first quarter of 2021, reflecting slightly slower economic activity than the preceding quarter due largely to seasonality, which during some festive period or some season where some activities can take place. In the quarter under review, average daily oil production stood at 1.61 million barrels per day, which is minus 0.19 million barrels per day, lower than the average daily production of 1.81 million barrels per day recorded in the same quarter of 2020 and minus 0.10 million barrels per day, lower than the 1.72 million barrels per day recorded in the first quarter of 2021. In November 16, 2021, economic growth will have slowed somewhat in the third quarter. The PMI averaged lower in the period compared to the second quarter, signaling that conditions improve at a more moderate pace. Moreover, central bank data shows that goods imports swung to a notable contraction on average in July and August, pointing to softening domestic demand. Furthermore, the data also highlight weaker growth in merchandise exports in the same period. This was likely influenced by reduced oil output in the quarter, according to OPEC data. Turning to the fourth quarter, the PMI rose to a 3-month high in October, suggesting that the economy started the period on a brighter note. In other news, on 7 October, the president presented the draft budget for 2022, which is said to be the largest in the history of Nigeria. Nigeria economic growth now, we have to look what is expected in year 2022. Economic growth should pick up pace in 2022 as the balance of risk is stable. The fading impact of the pandemic we all look for, and we pray that by the first quarter of 2022, the impact of pandemic will have softened. Should bow household spending. If that happens, people should spend more. People should put more money into our commercial activities, trade, buying and selling. While the new oil bill and the government infrastructure push should spur investment activities in the economy. Elevated inflation, security issue, and a sharper slowdown in China could also weigh on Nigeria exports and could pose downside risk to the economy. Focus economy panelists have said that GDP might grow by or at 2.6% in 2022, which is unchanged from last month's forecast and what many economists have been saying about Nigeria, and probably looking at 3% in 2023. If you look at all these economic variables and indices, there is possibility that Nigeria economy might grow better in year 2022, and activities, trade, and every other industry that is affected by pandemic will eventually pick up, and you can see more activities in all those industries that we have listed that we said is majorly affected by pandemic. That is industry like communication, information, and financial that are major backbone of Nigeria economy. And we are looking at situation where the majorly affected industry like aviation, tourism, hospitality, restaurant, manufacturing, and trade might pick up as well. So overall, we have to give credit to Nigeria economy for at least stay above the water in the pandemic year of 2020 through 2021, and thank the people in the economic sector that they are able to hold the economy together. Though when you talk to people in Nigeria, their opinion might be different from what the data says, because while the data is saying that the economy is growing though at a slower pace, Nigerians might tell you they can't see the impact on their life. They might tell you the prices of food, commodity are so high, the other activities, the house rent, electricity, the fuel prices, everything has gone up. So for them, it doesn't matter what the data says. They will tell you the economy is not doing well because they cannot see the impact in their daily and day-to-day activities. So we are hoping in year 2022 that the government will be able to put the economy to work for ordinary people, so that ordinary people might see the impact on their life. Because as the investment in rail and roads start to kick in, that movement of goods and services and people are more and easy than before. That will encourage and improve economic activities, and we hope that government will eventually take control of insecurity, so that people who are the farmers can really go to the farm and do their work and move their goods from farm to city. So overall, we hope Nigeria economy to perform better in year 2022. Thank you once again. My name is Abayomi Olowe from African Business Chamber of Commerce. We'll continue to look into Nigeria economy all through the year. We'll talk about other variables and indices and stuff that affect and influence Nigeria economy. Thank you for staying with us. Bye-bye.